In this video, I will show you guys 20 Donut SMP money making methods, ranging from methods that you see every day to methods so secret that I think I'm the only one who knows about these. Starting with the first method, which is suspicious sand. You see, normally this block is unobtainable in survival, but I have found a way to obtain it on the Donut SMP. And first, we need to find an ocean ruin. Oh, perfect. Alright, we found one right here. Alright, now when you look around for, yep, right here, suspicious sand. Alright, so first we're gonna surround this block and then dig to the side of it. Alright, we need to go 3 blocks below the last layer of sand. Break these 2 blocks and then grab at least 2 cobwebs. Then we're gonna place these 2 here and then just break this block. And after a little bit of waiting, they should break and drop the item. There we go, we just got ourselves a suspicious sand, which is unobtainable in survival Minecraft. And if you look on auction, people would pay a lot of money to have a rare item like this. Alright, for this next method, you want to find one of these iceberg biomes and get a silk touch pickaxe. And then just start mining it. And if you look at orders, you could actually get ice to sell for a lot of money. So let's put into this guy's orders. And just like that, after about 5 minutes of mining ice, we got $127. Okay, this next method you might have heard of, and it is doing duels on the Donut SMP. But you see, duels has skill-based matchmaking, so if you're really good at the game, you're probably going against really good opponents. But if you're new to the game, or just suck at Crystal PvP, there's a way to guarantee a win in a duel. Alright, now I'm on an alt account, and this is basically all you need to win a duel. Alright, all we gotta do is go invis, take off a totem, and wait for them to come to us. Alright. That was a little bit easier. I didn't really show it well there, but all you need to do is sneak up on your opponent and crystal them from behind. Okay, so this next method I actually found from Crazy Kai, so shout out to him. And basically all he did was just place TNT like this and then pick up the sand afterwards. And as you can see, you can pick up a lot of sand from just exploding it with TNT. And once you basically have a full inventory, you can just do /orders sand, go to the most money, and just dump it into one of these. Alright, we're halfway through the TNT and we've made about $80,000. And a full stack of TNT costs about $40,000. So technically, we're quadrupling our money by doing this method. Alright, so this next method is more beginner friendly. And all you have to do is type /shop, go to the end, and buy a bunch of shulker boxes. Then do /order shulker, and then put them in one of these. You might be wondering why this method works. Well, you see, you can buy shulker boxes for $800 in shop, but then in orders, they go for around $900 to $1,000. And it's way easier to drop shulkers from your orders than from /shop. The next money making method we're gonna try is investing into items on the Donut SMP. You see, the Donut SMP economy is always going up. So if you invest into things like elytras or spawners, they're bound to go up in prices if you just wait a bit. Alright, so we're gonna buy an elytra for $48 million and see how much it's worth at the end of the video. This next method is pretty simple too. All you really need is just some skeleton spawners. I have 1,500, but you can do this with basically any amount. So even if you just have a full inventory of bones, you could order them for a lot of money. And if you're rich like me, you could just drop your bones into a shulker loader, and it'll make you a ton of bones and put them into shulkers automatically. And one inventory of bones could go for $3.6 million. This next money making method is shoveling snow. This is made a lot easier with a snow golem, which you can get infinite snow from. And you can sell snow for a lot of money on auction, mainly because nobody's selling it. But just a couple of stacks could make you millions. The next method is clearing out your ender chest. You see, there's probably a lot of items in your ender chest that you don't need. For example, I have 3 pickaxes that I don't need. And I have 43 god apples, which I'm probably never gonna eat. And they could be worth up to $8 million. So if you're rich and have a lot of stuff in your ender chest that you don't need, try selling some of it. Not only will it make your ender chest cleaner, it will also give you a lot of money. The next method is milk. I'm not even joking. All right, so once you have some buckets, you just milk the cow, Apparently you can do this infinitely, which is a little bit concerning for the cow, but as you can see, milk actually sells way more than normal buckets of like lava and water, and it's pretty much infinite. So if you just sell these for like $5,000 each, you should make a lot of money. All right, this next method involves any of these big tree biome things. It can either be one of these big spruce taiga things or the dark oak trees. And it also requires an amethyst axe, which costs about $4 million. And all you have to do is just run around chopping these trees. Alright, I've basically got a full inventory of these logs here, which I can sell for about $10,000 each. And these shouldn't take too long to sell, considering they're the cheapest logs on the auction. This next method also requires a tree chopper and a cherry blossom biome. You see, cherry logs and saplings and stuff, these go for a lot more money, considering they're way more rare. And if you get silk touch on your axe, you could actually get the leaves, which is also worth a lot of money. I put all my cherry leaves in orders, and I made about $60,000 after about 30 seconds of just mining these trees. And if you put the cherry logs in orders, you can also get around $40,000, which means this method makes around $5 million an hour. For this method, we want to find one of these swamp biomes or a jungle because they have vines. Vines sell for a lot of money because nobody really wants to farm them. So if we just go around farming all the vines on these trees here. Alright, I got 64 vines, which I'm going to split into 4. And if I sell them for 100k each, that means I just made $400,000. And it only took me about 7 minutes to farm all of those vines. And it's easier if you're in a more like compact area like this, where you're just able to look around and just start farming. This method involves a single flower. Let me explain. So you see, if a flower is 2 blocks tall, you can actually bone meal it and it will basically duplicate. So I just used 2 stacks of bone meal and got 2 stacks of flowers. And if you turn these flowers into dye, you can get 4 stacks. And yellow dye sells for a lot of money. So if I just sell it for 50k each, you could probably make a big profit. And if you set up dispensers like this to fully automate it, you don't even have to lift a finger and you can get free yellow dye, which means free money. Alright, this next method is trading with villagers. This villager haul actually belongs to one of my viewers, so thank you for letting me borrow it. Basically, if you get a bunch of emeralds, you can trade them for books like mending, which could go for a lot of money. And you could trade for multiple books. So try to find which enchant makes you the most profit. The next method is farming pumpkins! Woo! You see, you could buy a stack of pumpkins for only $6,000. And if you have some shears, all you have to do is just lay these pumpkins out and then just shear all of them. And then just mine them all up. You see, these carved pumpkins actually sell for a lot more. And then if you put cursive binding on a pumpkin, it will go for way more. So I'll just sell it for like $150,000. The reason why people buy carved pumpkins from auction is that they like to do a little bit of trolling. Method number 17, you want to find a dripstone cave. And you kind of just want to do the same thing as the sand method by blowing the dripstone up. Okay, after 5 minutes, this is how much dripstone we got. And each stack is around $20,000. So if I sell them each for about $20,000, we can make around 100k every 5 minutes. The next method is fighting at world limit at 0-0. But first, we need to get up there, and this took a little bit of time, but it wasn't long before I spotted my first victim.
Yo, Jettism.
No, you blew up the loot, idiot!
1 dead up, 2 dead up, 3 dead up.
Oh my gosh, yo, this is raid!
Yo, Jettism is so buff.
What?
No,
all the loot's all gone.
Bro, oh my! Yeah, I forgot to mention that there are stinky little gooners who take your loot or just blow it up for no reason. But from this method, people have gotten maces and elytras, mainly from idiots who think they're good. But before we get to the last two methods, I just want to say videos like these take so long to make. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as it helps me out a ton with these videos. Okay, the second to last method of the video is selling mud. You see, mud is frequently used in popular farm designs. Alright, so once you laid out like your dirt and stuff, all you have to do is just fill up some bottles. Okay, that's a little bit too much. And just place the bottles on the mud. And once you have some right here, all you have to do is just shovel it up. I have 16 here, so I could probably sell it for around 10k. But this method is easier if you have a mangrove swamp where you can just mine infinite mud. For the last method, you need some spider spawners and a ton of bamboo. But basically, if you put string here and put bamboo around it, you can make a ton of scaffolding. As you can see, from only a little bit of bamboo, I made 1.5 stacks of scaffolding. You see, scaffolding makes building 10 times easier. So many people are willing to buy scaffolding for a high price. So I'll sell each stack for about 30k. But wait, remember that elytra we got earlier? Yeah, elytras are now $85 million. Meaning the elytra we got earlier basically doubled in value.